Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Where Is This Going? A podcast about artists you may not know yet, but hopefully will soon grow to appreciate at the very least. We're going to start doing these intros before the podcast starts because then we can just get into the conversation and feel like it's natural. And this way I can set up the episode and you guys can know who I'm talking to before we just get into conversation and it's not all awkward on the podcast. Anywho, on the podcast today is Mary Carpenter. Mary is a good friend from preschool or kindergarten days, but she is a wonderfully talented artist. She has a display of her art series up at the Eastern Kill Distillery right now. We don't know when it will come down. We just know it'll be up there through April, so might as well get this podcast out quick. Mary graduated from GVSU. Graduated from Hope she went to college and is now doing some teaching, art teaching, which I guess is the goal for artists, is to teach others to art. We have a great conversation. It's a great time. And you can follow Mary's creative aspirations, creative journey at the creative Underground _ and yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the _100 miles. You can follow the pod on Instagram at Where Is This Going Pod and on Twitter at Where Is This Gopo. And please tell your friends about the podcast. Tell your friends about Mary, great artist. Tell your friends about all the artists we have on, and enjoy the episode with her new display. Well, not so new anymore, but her soon-to-end display at the Eastern Kill Distillery. We have in the studio Miss Mary Catherine Carpenter.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm great, Hunter. It's so good to see you.
Do you still go by Mary Catherine?
I think you are probably one of the only people that calls me that.
Okay.
So
well,
Mary is good.
Mary
Catherine's also fine.
I was going to say, we'll go by birth name.
Okay.
Please welcome Mary Catherine. You can follow her artistic endeavors at Creative Underground _ on Instagram. Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, Mary.
Hey.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, it's Sunday. I don't know if I'm supposed to say what day it is.
We are actually pretty secretive on this podcast.
Sorry.
No, of all the things we disclose, that is one thing we do not.
Oh, well.
It's also snowing, which is odd in March.
I know. But also Michigan is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And always does stuff like that to us, so I'm not shocked by it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. So Mary is you're an artist of paint, mostly. What do you work with? I don't know how to describe people who aren't like comedians or musicians, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to pick just one thing. Like,
right.
I like lots of things, but I definitely think painting is not only my favorite, but the easiest to do, like, in my current situation at home. So, mostly I paint, yes.
Yeah.
I also draw, and I like clay and stuff like that. But
you like clay, but do you use it?
Not currently. I wish I did. I wish I could have a little pottery studio in my house, but that's a little bit above my pay grade, you know.
Your pay grade as a part-time teacher, full-time teacher?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, because of COVID, I lost my full-time teaching job.
Hashtag sad.
My job was just, like, eliminated.
Oh, yeah. So. You know, it was already on the edges of the budget pushback, so.
Yeah, arts are usually the first to get cut.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was an art teacher. Now I'm just subbing right now.
Right.
I had a long-term subbing job. I actually love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely...
Is it art that you're subbing for?
It's not art. It's
just
not.
catch all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working at a school where it's K through 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so for 3 months I did middle school math, which was really weird because that's not my comfort zone.
I think we had classes in middle school math together, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did you have Mr. Stevens with me or no?
I think I did.
Because you broke your leg.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
And we talked about that in class, how you broke your leg ice skating.
Yeah. Did you have Mrs. Wheeler?
Yes.
She's still there. I looked at the website. She's still there.
I checked
the website for our school.
Shout out Cityside Middle School, Zeeland, Michigan. Great time. Great time. Not really.
No.
I hated middle school, but it was cool. Why are we
talking about middle school?
I don't care. Okay. Because you're now. Does it bring back any middle school memories, like being?
Oh yeah.
Teaching middle schoolers.
Yeah. It's weird because I think middle school is actually my favorite grade to teach, or my favorite age to teach.
Yeah.
Which most people do not say that, because middle school is a lot.
When I was doing youth ministry, like middle schoolers were also my favorite to mentor or just be around.
Yeah.
Because I was also like tutoring through like the Anchor and stuff like that, doing tutoring and mentoring. And I love middle schoolers because they're like still little assholes, but you can still blame it on like them being dumb or
society or their parents.
Yeah, or
like,
their
it's
parents.
Not their fault.
Right. They're ignorant, and that's okay for now.
Yeah.
And so they have an out, but they still have a personality that you can blame them for.
Yeah.
And
you can even have like a real conversation with them. That's what I like, is they're old enough to have a conversation about real life things.
Right.
As like a fifth grader, you're like, they're kind of not quite there yet. I mean, you can still talk to them, but not about
they're just not there yet mentally, you know.
Well, they're just not mature enough to have certain conversations about certain topics.
Or like formed opinions on things in life.
Oh my God, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Well, yeah, you're right. I do my best to stay away from elementary age children. So
yeah, they're cute.
Kudos on me, I think. Yeah, you need to chill. There's a lot going on in the news. I think you're unaware, but
probably.
Would you say that being an art teacher was a goal of yours as an artist?
Oh yeah, I mean.
That was a weird emphasis I put on the word artist. I just have to acknowledge that. Sorry, go on.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, yeah, it's weird when you are an artist. For me, I don't think I really came into my own as an artist until college.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, when you go to college, you're supposed to have some sort of like, oh, I want to do this.
Right. Some kind of plan.
Right. And I mean, my mom's a teacher, so I had that in my life. And a lot of our friends are, in the education field.
Right.
And I mean, come on, Mrs. Osink in high school. Like,
shout out, R.I.P.
I know. So sad.
Rest in peace, Marty Osink. A great art teacher that I never had.
You never had her?
No, I was in her classroom very often, though. I never had her as a teacher.
I remember that.
I would skip band and go hang out.
Go
hang out with Jake. Were you in that painting class that I would hang out in?
No, because I was in band.
Oh, fuck, that's right. No, I would go hang out in a painting class with Nathan Coles and Zach Quigley for a while.
I remember those.
It was a good time.
Sure it wasn't Seminar?
No, I mean I also had Seminar, and Quigley and them would be in Freeze's room, wasn't she? Weren't they? Yeah, but I was in Ossink's room for Seminar. There
are a lot of fun people in
riveting
Ossink's room, though.
Stories right now. But yeah.
She was great.
Right.
And like, I don't necessarily agree with her teaching style at this point in my life, but I really enjoyed art classes. Like, you can be a lot more free, and I think school is a really tough, like, rigid environment.
Yeah, and it's a place where you don't get to express a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
usually.
exactly. And you don't have to be good at it to necessarily enjoy it. That's what I like.
Well, I was not good at it at all, and I really didn't enjoy art class. And I have to say that may have played a part.
Yeah.
Is my lack of skill. But you seem to have been inspired by at least one teacher or two, with your mother included.
Yeah.
Who has inspired you as an artist, I guess? More than teachers, I suppose. Are there any notable inspirations or artists that you've seen over the years that you've kind of like tracked?
Yeah, I mean, I love Instagram. I think Instagram is a really great way to access art, because I think, especially in college, like for me, I was in a lot of art classes, so there are other artists.
Hope College and GV. Did you graduate from GV?
No, so I started at Grand Valley. I did my freshman year there.
That's right.
Then I transferred to Hope.
This episode of Where Is This Going is brought to you by Off the Grid. friends of the podcast, and now their doors are open at 2863 West Shore Drive, apartment 114. House of the Vintage and Handcrafted, created in secret, off the grid, has everything you need to get away. Get away from your old style, get away from your old pieces, and just get off the grid. Off the Grid offers beautiful glass pieces like this, and also a curated style of vintage clothing to, like I said, get you away from your old style and get you something new. Check them out at, once again, 2863 West Shore Drive, apartment 114. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you mention the podcast, you can get 10% off of any glass or merchandise. So check them out. Alex and Bruce, great guys. Tell them we sent you. One last note before we go. We accidentally miscredit an artist on Instagram that Mary says inspires her. We say that it's at Sorry Not Sorry Art, but the actual handle on Instagram is at not_sorry_art. Sorry about the confusion there. You seem super happy.
There's a lot of things that go along with that.
Oh, we know. I mean, I know why, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, we don't.
But just know men were involved. But
oh my god.
But did you prefer Hope over GV or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like
in the end, it seemed to be a good choice then.
Yeah, it totally worked out. I mean, I always wanted to go there originally, but then I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And my dad was like, "Why do you spend so much money on college when you don't know what you want?"
You're not going to go to a private college with no plan.
Right, exactly. So, went to Grand Valley, hated it. Know lots of people that love it.
I'll go to a public university with no plan, though, no problem.
Right. And commute there in the winter and almost die on my way to class.
And what are you going to pursue? I don't know.
I'm just gonna take my gen eds, make no friends.
I was gonna say take my gen eds and get day drunk.
Yeah, right. Sleep in the library if I have to. But yeah, so I transferred to Hope. I actually really enjoyed Hope's art department. I think they do a really good job of inspiring young people.
Right.
Because art's one of those things where it's like, you know, like the really old art, like you go to the art museum, you see those like very like static
like
portraits.
Classic,
yeah, like classic art, like medieval type things.
Right.
And then you see the things that are just like two canvases that are like one color and they're like, why is this art? You know? And they teach you a lot about that. So honestly, art history kind of like sparked a lot in me because I didn't know a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I really think that I mean, I've followed a lot of artists on Instagram. That's what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah. Sorry to derail you.
No, that's okay. It happens. But Instagram's a really good way to expose yourself to artists. I mean, I love the explore page on Instagram. Like, I just scroll and...
See, the only thing that pops up on my explore pages now is my explore page is like lacrosse videos, and I don't follow any lacrosse.
But do you watch the videos?
Only on explore, yeah. And so I'm just like, hell yeah.
Well, it's an algorithm. They pick that purposely.
And lacrosse videos are purely harmless, and they're pure, and they have no agenda. And you know what? It always feels good.
Yeah. There are some things that scare me a little bit on my explore page. Things that, you know, like divulge. You don't want to watch, but you do anyways.
Like pimple popper type things, or
those make me uncomfortable. So no.
Yeah, as do.
But you kind of do want to watch it though.
Yeah, no, they make my girlfriend very uncomfortable. She is visibly cringing right now.
Yeah.
Just at the mention.
Yeah, they're definitely scary. Or like TikTok. Like, I fucking hate TikTok. I'm sorry.
Likewise.
It's just really disturbing.
But this is the generation that you're trying to impact.
Exactly. That's what's wrong with it. Do you know that they found out a way to saw plastic chairs with mask strings? Like disposable mask strings. They sawed a chair in half.
Do they do this in your school?
Yes. And they found the video on TikTok. Can you believe that?
But I'm guessing it's just friction with... Why do you have plastic chairs? What kind of plastic chairs?
You know the ones that are like that pebbled plastic, and they're like, they scoop like this, and they've got like the 3 spaces where the back goes.
Yep.
They're like that.
Yeah, classic school chairs or like your youth group gymnasium.
Yeah, like I feel like they're pretty standard.
Yeah, so they're just sawing those chairs, like the backs
Yeah,
of
it's
them or
just
the
like
legs
back
of them.
and forth, like moving of the string. It must
Well,
be
yeah,
like
we know how friction works. Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Like how people saw out of jail, with
Yeah,
the bars.
You're right. You're right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm kidding. I've never done that. But yeah, so you're saying TikTok is ruining America. I
just think it's ridiculous, and like these
The world's
girls
generation.
that get famous for like doing a slutty dance. I'm like, good for you, bro.
Good.
I'm like, here I am with no money, and you're selling your body on TikTok. It's fine.
Now, do you think maybe she's trying to inspire you?
To sell my body?
I don't know. Maybe she's trying to put her inspiration out there too.
Nah. I just don't know what parents be like. Yeah, you go do that in
Yeah.
your belly shirt.
It's hard.
in
It's
your
hard to support.
Thong bikini. Like I don't understand.
Your disdain for the generations, or I guess society's. I don't understand either why society is idolizing
Yeah.
teenagers like this who are just putting themselves out there, exposing themselves. Now I definitely sound like a dad, but but yeah, it's basically they're not just exposing their bodies, they're exposing their trauma and their poor childhood,
Yeah.
and their parents.
Yes.
But they're putting that out there and it's being praised, which I mean that's what I'm trying to do just with my clothes on and my words.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the audience is just so different. Like, do you remember when we got iPads in high school and that was like a huge thing?
Yes.
Like, people were all of a sudden on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes, I got suspended from a couple baseball games because of using that iPad for Twitter in school, and maybe some disparaging comments about some of my teachers. But
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like now
it was
kids,
internet comedy. It was young.
Yeah, but now kids have access to all of that stuff,
Right.
so they're exposed to so much more. So it's just like I don't want to sound like a teacher or a mom right now, but like this really irks me. You know,
But you
like,
are a teacher.
I know, but
And a seemingly natural born mom.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it works out for you.
Thanks, me too.
But I understand what you're saying, because even like in kindergarten, they're giving kids tablets now.
And phones.
Yeah.
Like, why
Well-
should your 6-year-old have a phone?
Yeah, my nephew's had a not working phone since he was like 8, but now it works, and we wish it didn't, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of use for no reason, and maybe that's what we were doing too at that time, but it's a lot more in your face, and we didn't have touchscreen phones or like smartphones
No.
in middle school.
Like, my first phone, like, I begged my dad for a phone. And I think my first cell phone was probably in, like, 7th grade.
Mhm.
And it was a flip phone. And I had,
Right.
like, limited texting.
Yeah, exactly. You had to pay like 99 cents
Yeah.
after that too.
Now kids in, like, 5th grade have iPhones. I'm like, this is just not.
Yeah, that's my nephew right now. It's ridiculous. But I mean, if they were available at that time, they kind of were. And a lot of us didn't get them, but there was
Right.
also other kids in our school who did have iPhones like as soon as
Mhm.
they came out.
That's so true.
And I mean, they seem to turn out fine. I mean,
Yeah.
a couple of teen moms, but who's to say that's not better for them?
Yeah, right.
Maybe that was their plan. You plan on having kids?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I
if
don't
you're
know
supposed
when
to ask
that's
women
when I'm planning on doing that, but it is a little scary how many people from our group
Yeah.
are like married, children.
Yeah, I'm
you know.
halfway there. I got the kid.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
You know,
you'll say that.
he's cute.
But yeah, thank you. He looks just like me, so
I
I'll
know.
take the compliment. But are you? I don't. Oh fuck.
It's all right. Take your time.
Is your boyfriend or your fiance?
My boyfriend.
Okay. I don't know why a lot of people are getting engaged, so I didn't want.
Yes.
And now I feel like an idiot because I
fine.
asked that. I'm just going through my own thing right now. But you continue. How long have you guys been together?
We've been dating for like a little over 3 years.
Nice.
I mean, we were very casual at first, so it's hard to be like, this is how long we were together.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a while.
Nice.
Feels
Did you
good.
meet him in school? Because
Yeah.
I was gonna say 3 years. What did you graduate from Hope?
I did. I
Okay.
did.
Degree?
Yes. Degree? Oh,
what-
yes, I got one.
I got one. Yeah. What is it?
Oh, it's in our education.
Kidding.
So,
I assumed because
Yeah.
that's your job.
yeah.
But-
Yeah, but I did meet him there.
Mhm.
I mean, Hope is an interesting place. Again, we don't have to get into all of that, but
Right. Yeah, sororities, frats, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's kind of how we met each other.
Of
I was in a
course.
sorority. He was in a frat.
Yuck.
Lots of partying.
And disgusting. Yeah. It's gross.
Okay. That's your opinion. That's fine.
I mean, I think that's the general opinion of sorority Greek life.
Yeah.
Not to say I have anything against the Greeks. They're pretty cool, decent from the ones I know. But
yeah.
I'm jokingly shitting on Greek life. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You seem to be fairly offended.
Oh no, I'm really not offended. The thing about it is like when I went to Hope,
Mhm.
when I first got there, like I was like, ew, no, never
Yeah.
doing that. Hate it. Hate everything about it.
Mhm.
The thing is I came in as a sophomore, and I only had a few friends,
Right.
and the friends that I did have were doing it, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, if I try it and I don't want to do it, like I can just be like, fuck this, I'm not doing it.
Exactly. And it's a way to meet other friends. And I
Right.
would especially assume that it would be hard as a sophomore, not a freshman coming
Mhm.
in, because you didn't have like a class that you came in with.
Yeah, it was definitely weird because I don't know, I was like older than all the freshmen, but I was
Mhm.
confused for a freshman a lot because I was new. And I remember before like the beginning of Greek life, like calling my mom and being like, I really don't want to do this, but I really want to have a social life, so I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And I don't regret it. I do think it gets a bad rap. I'm not really like a sorority girl type.
You're right.
And I was able to be that way in my sorority that I was in. Like, they didn't really give a shit if I participated or not.
Right.
Like, it was just kind of like, I like to have fun, and that was the point.
Mhm.
So,
And that was the point. And
Yeah.
I like to party, and this is an outlet.
yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, I'm doing it.
Hope's not really known for their college parties. I did attend a few when I was like a junior or senior
Yeah.
in high school, but
I think it's, like, it's hard because it's, like,
very exclusive.
yeah, like, you know everyone.
Right.
Like, I'd go to any party and be like, I know at least 60% of the people
Right.
here.
And so if you saw someone you didn't know, you'd be like, kind of weary or.
Kinda. I mean, usually, like, if there's an outsider, you get introduced to them.
Oh,
Or they're
so
like, oh,
they're-
that's so-and-so's.
But they're described as an outsider. Got
Kind
it.
of, yeah. Like, who is that person? Oh, it's so-and-so's girlfriend's brother or something like
Right.
that. I don't know. Like, I would bring my brother to parties and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
it wasn't too exclusive, but
Not too exclusive. Bum 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 bum. So let's talk about your Eastern Kill Distillery exhibit
yeah, it's like kind of like a mini show.
mini show.
Yeah.
Posting pieces for purchase.
Yeah.
I like alliterations. That was a Mr. Barber inspiration.
Oh gosh.
That's an alliteration. Can we see? Yes, beautiful. So can you tell us a little bit about these pieces or just the showing in general?
Yeah, I'll just give you like a little synopsis.
Mhm.
I mean, I originally started painting this design because a friend from my old school sent me this photo and she was like, I really want to buy this, but it's too expensive. Like, it was just a print. She was
Right.
like, would you be willing to paint me something similar? And I was like, yeah, of course. And so I painted her something and she loved it. And I was like, wow, I really enjoy this. I'm going to make more.
Mhm.
And once I started making them, I was showing them to my friend and colleague from my old school. She's actually the middle school art teacher at my old district.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, these are really sweet. Like, you should hang them up. I was like, yeah, but, like, how do I do that? Like, I don't know
Right.
how to do that. And she was like, well, actually, like, I hang the art in Linear, Eastern Kill, and Terra in Grand Rapids.
Nice.
So she has lots of connections, and she was like, if you can get a good series together, I'll
Mhm.
hang them up for you. So
That inspired this series, a favor for a friend, or
yeah, like, it was just something I really enjoyed painting, and I hadn't really created in a while,
right.
especially not, like, for myself.
Mhm.
So I really liked it, and I just kept going with it, and I mean, I don't have a lot of paintings
Mhm.
up there, but
Right.
that took me, like, all of quarantine.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say. So
finish.
it was a COVID project as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, COVID was a rough time for me, for
Mhm.
real. Like, once I got laid off from my job, it was just like, what am I going to do
Yeah, I was
now?
gonna say a bit of a spiral, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, at first you're like, oh, I get 2 weeks off of work, sweet. And then they tell you you're not coming back, and you're like, well, what am I
What
supposed
do
to
you-
do?
Do something for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Help me.
I want to be busy, please.
Right.
So, yeah, I just kind of used my days to do laundry and paint. So,
How long into quarantine did you start the series or start working on?
it was probably around this time.
Last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
It kept you busy then, I'm sure. A little bit
yeah.
a little bit of sanity to
Mm-hmm.
keep you going through up until 2 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I also when we originally closed the school, I still had to create like materials to submit for the kids to do.
Mhm.
So I was still doing that, but it would be like 1 or 2 hours that I have to work
Right.
during the week. So it was like nothing.
Yeah,
So this
not enough
definitely
to sustain.
right. So this definitely kept me occupied, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of spurred from there. I'm actually still working on some that are similar to these. I have one really big one that I'm hoping to put in Eastern Kill, but it's just been taking me a while.
How long is your are these going to be up?
She didn't give me like a specific time frame. She did say like 2 or 3 months.
Mhm.
And I can't even remember when I put them up. It was like
It was mid-February,
February?
I think.
Yeah. So my guess is end of April she'll take them down,
Mhm.
but it kind of depends on what she's got
Right.
next. So
Check them out while you can at Eastern Kill Distillery. Where is Eastern Kill?
it's near downtown, but it's kind of off the beaten path. Like if you know where like Belknap Park is, it's kind of by there. It's in like Garage Bar.
Okay.
It's on Ottawa. It doesn't look like it's a place you can go like have a drink.
Right.
Kind of looks like just like a little square building. But yeah, it's super cute in there. They've got really good drinks. Like they're expensive, but you can pay for a good cocktail. Like I'm someone who only needs one, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Okay. Great drink. But please purchase more than one if you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
if
I'm
you do
saying
visit.
like alcohol wise, I'm a lightweight, so
But speaking of pricing, this is a conversation we had a little bit of, but I wanted to stop you so we could have it here.
yeah.
Because I know it's hard for a lot of artists to, I guess, put a price to themselves. Back to selling yourself.
Yeah.
But like, how do you put a price on your passion? It's tough. Like I've been told to, or I've been asked to like quote myself for what's it called, for like sponsorships or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like even like doing paid comedy shows, like what's your rate or whatever.
Right.
Like especially not doing many paid comedy shows, I don't know what my self-worth is to monetary value. And I know it's a common problem, I guess, especially for new artists. But how do you go about justifying your art prices?
Well, it's hard because especially if you're making them with intentions of selling them, I mean, you obviously want to make a profit on it. That's why you're doing it. But you also don't want to put a price that's too high where people, for one, won't buy it. Or they're like, I'm your friend. Why would you charge me this much money?
Right.
But I think the thing that I had Marie, my friend who hung the paintings for me. She helped me because she's been painting a lot longer than me. She has more experience like selling art.
Right.
So she gave me kind of like a range, like, okay, what are you comfortable charging? But yeah, it is really hard because, I mean, I spend hours of my time in materials to create these things.
Right.
Like, it's not like it's easy. And I think people assume that it is.
Yeah, because knowing you for as long as I have, you have always been like artistic and drawing, and like you would have things in art shows in like middle school, high school, but so it seems like it would come easy to you.
Right.
Like another shout out to a random person from 5th grade, Richard Newth, who I actually used to have drinks with just before COVID. But yes, Richard Newth was an amazing artist.
He was.
As well.
He was.
I'm sure still is. I think he might be like an engineer or something.
That
like
wouldn't surprise me. That
he's
sounds right.
super smart. But like, and it always seemed to have come natural and easy. So yeah, I can understand why people would be like, but it is easy. I mean, not for me, but for you. But like, obviously, then you have to admire this talent, and like there is a value to it. Do you do many commission pieces, or was it just the kind of one for the friend?
I mean, I will do it. It's tough because as an artist, like, you have a specific thing that you like doing and that you feel like you're good at doing.
Right.
And that's what you're most comfortable, deciding to create. Like, my mom will be like, "Oh, we took this beautiful sunset picture on the beach this summer. Will you paint it?" And, like, I'm like, "Okay, I will."
But I hate sunsets.
Well, it's not that. It's more just like I'm going to be stressed about it because it's not my style.
Right.
And I am going to feel like I need it to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I have done things for people before, and I like making things for people. It's like a motivation to produce something.
Yeah, and do you think, like you said, you're going to feel a lot of pressure from it because sometimes it's not your style, but also it's not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because even these paintings that are for sale right now, I mean, some of them I'm pretty attached to.
Right.
Like, and they're hard for me to sell because I'm like, wow, I'm really proud of that.
Exactly. And you spend a lot of time with it too, and so much. Yeah, I would imagine that they do build a lot of sentimental value just in the process.
Yeah. And it does take a lot of mental energy and, like, emotional energy to create stuff. I feel like people don't really get that either. Like, just hard because when you are creating things, people expect you to have, like, this, like, okay, you're going to have 1 done in a month, 2 done in 2 months, 3 done in 3 months. Like, it's not necessarily like that.
Yeah,
like,
it's not a set formula.
No, like, one day I'll be really feeling it and paint for the whole day. And another day I'll sit down and stare at it for an hour and be like, ugh, I really don't even want to do this right now.
Right.
So you have to be in the right mindset and, like, headspace to be like, I'm going to do this today. So it's been tough because I love it, but it's also a lot.
Right. Have you found anything that kind of sparks your creativity or that gets you into, how do you conjure, like, a flow state or, like, a inspirational, if it can be conjured, it feels like a spirit does take over when you are in, like, a creative headspace of, like, that flow state where everything seems to be just coming together.
Yeah.
But do you have a way of, like I said, kind of conjuring that state?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I haven't so much lately had, like, this overcoming feeling of motivation. But one thing in the past that has really helped me is honestly, like, going to museums. Places like the DIA. Like, I really like the DIA because it's huge. You could spend the whole day there if you wanted to.
We went there for a couple hours. How long ago was that? A few months ago? The DIA. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, cool. Anyways, yeah, we visited the DIA a bit ago, which we were timid because of COVID. Didn't know if it would be open, but
yeah, I mean, it is a little weirder now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I haven't really seen a lot of art either in the last year, but it's just fun to look at all of it because it's, like, everything from, like, the 1600s and earlier, really, to now. And you just get to see all these different things. But honestly, right now, I think it's Instagram. Like, I have this one artist. If you want to follow her handle is, like, @sorrynotsorryart.
Okay. Seems easy to remember. I'll try to put it in post.
That's okay. I should have sent it to you, but she's a painter, and I just really love her colors and everything. And she does these, like, time-lapse videos, and I'm like, ooh, that is inspiring me to do this color combination, or I don't know. I just feel like it's a really quick and easy way to access other people's creations.
Do you feel a lot of need to put, like, content out? Like, it's one thing to create, but do you feel a need to showcase that? Whether it is, like, a time lapse of, like, the process. Follow Sorry Not Sorry Art on Instagram.
Love it.
But like that, do you feel the need to put content out, like these time-lapse videos, or even just posting your paintings?
Yeah, I mean, especially if I want to sell my work, it's like one of those things where really you can only sell it if people know who you are and they care about your art.
Right.
Like, I've sold a few of these paintings, but mostly to, like, family or friends. So it's not like someone random is going to look at that and be like, oh, this is worth it to me.
Right. You have to establish a relationship that like with the viewer or the consumer
Yeah.
of the art. That
Yeah, like a following.
yeah,
like,
and that adds value to it. Of
yeah,
course.
exactly. And that's the thing too, like if you're going to be selling your work, like you could go on Society 6 and buy a print of something
Right.
and like a million other people could have that.
Mhm.
But like this that I'm making, not saying anything bad about Society 6. I
Right.
love it. It's
But,
really cool.
Yeah, but those images or those art pieces are mass produced for a reason too, because they appeal to the masses.
Yeah.
But to have a custom made piece or like a commissioned piece or like
a hand painted piece.
exactly
Yeah.
because you appreciate that artist and there is value to having a one of a kind as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my issue with it is I think people have kind of lost that desire to have something that's handcrafted and that is one of a kind.
Right.
Like people don't understand the
Because it's not
value of it.
convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I don't know. That's one thing for me that's really hard as someone who wants to get my art out there, but you kind of have to make a lot of changes and choices to do that, and I don't
Right.
necessarily agree with all of it. Like I don't want to have to promote my Instagram by paying $20 to get,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want
Plus,
to do that.
I would feel bad showing up on other people's Instagram pages, like as a promoted,
like an ad.
yeah, as a promoted thing, and I'm like, they have no reason to see me. I
Yeah.
don't. Which also, like, that's the price you pay is of like being perceived as gaudy or stuck up or big headed. Like by like you should see me, like you should see this. But I mean that's the price you have to pay to get your name out there and maybe gain a following. What are your feelings on Art Prize?
Like in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
I like it. I feel like the first year, because I think we would have been in maybe middle school or something when the
Probably.
first year of
The
Art
very
Prize.
first one?
Yeah. I think it was better the first couple of years just because a lot of those pieces take years to make.
Right.
And so, like, people had these pieces that they were like, yes, I'm ready to display this. But then if you're doing it every year, like, the amount of good quality...
Yeah, it's destined to go down because people are just trying to produce for the next year.
Exactly. So it's, like, it's a different goal.
Right.
It's a different goal.
Did they change it to every other year?
I think they did. I think they did change it.
And then COVID stuff, so I don't know when it's coming back.
Yeah.
If.
I don't know. I'm not hating on Art Prize. I think it's really cool, and it gets a lot of people to GR, which, I mean, people like GR anyways, but...
Yeah. Do you see it as an inspirational event?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime I can go see other people's work,
Right.
it's huge, because it's like showing me, like, oh, somebody else did that? Like,
Yeah.
I can do that.
I could do that and or better.
Yeah, or, like, some other variation of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually interesting. I was listening to the pod when you had Anthony Eves on, and love him, by the way.
Yes.
But he was talking about how like art is like all copying, and how that's kind of okay. You know, like because art is basically a recreation of, you know, what you see or
Right.
you know, what inspires you or whatever. And that's the thing that's hard about it too is, you know, you look at something and you're like, oh, I could do that, but I could do it better. Or you're like, oh, I really like that part of that painting. I kind of want to do that in my painting.
Expand on that. Right. And so you're not copying, but it's copying to a point
right.
of giving your own style to it.
Yeah.
And it's the same in music, I think, as well as, because I mean, a lot of music, like chords and progressions are the same.
Right.
And borrowed or inspired by other songs. And added their own flavors. Same thing with jokes and stuff. Like it's a similar premise, but I took my own, my own experience and kind of
you morphed it into your own thing.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean I think that's true inspiration is if your eyes deceived me. I thought whenever someone looks at the screen, I'm always like, oh, did Jake put something up there?
I'm just distracted by it.
But and I think, that's the mark of a true artist or a great artist is that it inspires people to do their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I am someone who I use reference photos. Like, I look stuff up on Google,
Right.
I do that. And it's not copying, even though people will claim.
Now you sound like you're defending it.
I
Hey, and I'm
am.
not.
I said like copying was okay, which I don't agree with. I do think that you can copy certain elements and like use certain things.
Right. The word copy is just it's a harsh term.
Yeah, and it's like it's defining
How
something
about
that's
this?
not really
You
defined.
can draw from.
Yeah, you can draw from.
Yes.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm a linguist. Do you have a goal with your art? Do you think that this is an interesting question that I heard recently? Do you think art should have a goal?
I think it depends.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think for some people, it's more of just an emotional outlet. Like, it's something they do for themselves and they have no intentions of,
Posting or promoting.
Yeah, like they just do it to do it. Like, my mom
Right.
is a very crafty person. She likes to do it. It gives her some sort of, sense of accomplishment.
Right. Not to say anything about your mom, but crafty does seem like a step down from artistic. Now,
Well, that's what she says.
Okay.
She says that she's not artistic, but she's crafty.
Oh.
Which I agree with. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, she would never go out and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna paint something abstract." Like, she would rather copy something directly or like
Right.
follow the directions.
She goes, "I like that picture. I'll do that."
Yeah. Whereas, like, I feel like my dad is more creative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but
How so? How is your father creative?
well, my dad is an engineer,
Ah.
so I think he has more of a mind. Like, I think I kind of have this too.
That thinks abstractly and out of the box.
Right, like a problem solver kind of.
Mhm.
Where my mom is like, "Oh, this is cute. Why would I change it?"
Yeah.
My dad's like, "Oh, we can rearrange everything and make it cooler."
Nice. So I've known you my whole life, like since kindergarten.
Yeah.
I did not realize that you came from a family of academics. But you're this,
Okay.
an artist.
Yeah.
Do you think your parents frown?
Well, it's hard to say because I mean, my family has interesting things, like everyone's family. I mean, I always really loved that my mom was a teacher.
Right.
Like, there's something comforting about it. Like, I just I loved my teachers. I was somebody who liked school.
Yeah. So it gave you more of an appreciation for education.
Yeah, definitely. And my dad was more like, how are you going to make money?
Yeah, more practical.
Yeah, which I don't blame him at all for doing that because, now I kind of understand why he was telling me that.
Yeah. And you've seemed like a very practical person, just in your decision making as a whole, I think. So do you think you would take more after your mom? Well, I mean, not to say that your mom isn't practical, because
I know what you're saying though.
but
I know
yeah,
what you're
do you
saying.
think you take more after the engineer or the children loving, caring nature?
Okay, well, I'll dive into that a little bit because I think my mom kind of is like a work from the heart kind of person. Like, how you feel makes decisions for you, where my
Right.
dad is more like logical, like, okay, what is going to make me the most secure?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to keep my kids safe? Like, all of these things. And it's not that my mom doesn't think about that, but it's that she is more of an emotional thinker.
Right.
Whereas
As women are.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you got to have someone who uses their
That was
emotions.
That was a joke of a sexist take, but you
well,
agreed with
I
it,
think-
so it stays.
Oh, you
now,
make me sound
now
so
it's fact.
horrible.
No, it's
I do think women are statistically like more emotional, and I am fine with that. I'm an emotional person. I accept it. I also am not like a super feminist person, but that's a whole nother thing.
Good,
Nobody
because
judge me if you're
it
listening.
didn't sound like a super feministic take. So.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But I definitely think with my heart a lot more, and I make decisions based on how I feel. I mean, going into art education is not something that's gonna secure you for life.
It's not a practical engineering
Yeah.
decision.
No, and it's not something. I mean, you don't think about this when you're going to school, but it's definitely not a salary I could live on my own for my whole life with.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like I couldn't support my own children with
Right.
that.
That's why you have a
know?
long-term relationship.
Well, yeah, but that's also not the goal. I'm just saying you don't choose it for the money.
Right.
You choose it because you love it.
Of course.
And I do love it. So I don't have any regrets at all about my decision.
Are you talking about now the relationship or the career?
The career. But also my relationship is great.
And you don't do that for the money either. I got you.
No,
we're drawing similarities.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think I do have times where I, have that logical side of me that's like, oh, shoot, I probably should have done this, or I should have thought about this a little bit more. You'd probably ask my parents and they'd say other things than I'm saying right now.
I think all of our parents have a different perspective than our own. But go ahead.
Nope, you go.
Jake, what are we at? 45? Litty titty. So did you, I guess we didn't really come down to, do you believe you have, it depends on what you're doing, I guess, if your art has a goal.
Oh, yeah.
Does your art have a goal? Do you have a goal for your
I have
passion?
Goals. Yeah. I mean, as an art teacher, I just want to have a job where I feel like I'm actually doing what I'm like, just doing what the kids need me to do.
Right.
Like I want to be giving what I can give, but I also want to have a balanced life where I have time for my own family and time to create too. So as a teacher, it's really hard to do those things because you're really busy. But I think for my art as a whole, I would love to at some point have like an established studio in my home, have a place where I feel comfortable, have all my supplies, and whenever I feel like I can or I want to, I can create, and whether that be for me or to sell or, whatever. I also, one of my goals right now is to expand my horizons a little bit. I applied for a studio membership at a pottery studio. Nice. So I'm really hoping I can get back into that. I feel like it's a really interesting outlet, and I feel like it's something that I've been craving for a while.
It's more of a physical outlet.
Yeah.
So I would assume that paint is your favorite medium or your main medium. Like you said, it's the most convenient for you right now.
It's my main. I would say that I'm the best at it. That's probably my strongest artistic
medium.
But yes,
what else do you, I guess, like to work with or prefer to work with besides I'm preferred is paint.
Yeah.
But go on.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're asking. In college, when I took ceramics, that was like I wanted to keep doing that. Like, I was like, this is really cool. I love it. It's like a surprise every time. I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to master, and so it's something that I want to learn more about.
Right.
Whereas painting, I feel like I know a lot about it already. Not to say that I'm like, an expert.
I've already mastered this. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. But it's not that. It's just like I want to be successful in doing that. So that's something I definitely want to try. One thing that I'm really bad at, though, is like digital art.
Right.
And that's so up and coming right now.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where I'm like annoyed that I don't know how to do it, but I like refuse to learn it.
I'm not gonna. You sound old.
I know.
We just had Alex Yeomans on, who has been doing some really cool like 3D graphic art. Yeah, and it seems very complicated, and a lot of it seems mathematical, and I was decent at math, but I don't want to get into that.
It's a whole nother realm, really. And I mean, I'm not trying to say that anyone can do it, but it's something that you have to be willing to learn.
Yeah, and like, invest your time in.
Right,
yeah.
Like painting, you can really teach yourself how to do it.
You say that. But
okay, I guess it's probably just because I'm more comfortable with it.
It's the whole skill thing. Like, if you think it's so easy, why don't you do it?
That's
and
so
I'm like,
true.
yeah, I would if I could.
Yeah, but I do think that there are some people that are more naturally inclined to be skilled with digital or computer programs.
Yeah, definitely. And those people those are the ones who are willing to devote the time to learn new things. When it comes to, same thing with people who are artistically inclined or like with creative writing or things like that. Those are people who want to learn more about that thing,
Right.
Or more about paintings and techniques and eras and things like that.
Right. Yeah. It's just one of those things, like, especially as an artist too, you'll have those people, like I remember in my sorority, like anytime we needed like a banner or something, they'd be like, "Oh, Mary will do it."
Right,
And I'm
just
like,
assuming.
you can't just think that because I can that I
Right.
want to. or
This
that
is
I
an arts
will.
and crafts project. You guys could do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My
and
mom
then-
could do this, actually. She's crafty.
Yeah. I don't know. It is a lot of pressure in a way too,
Mhm.
like to be. I mean, one of my friends from college, his brother, him and his friends like create their own board games. Like they have these
nice.
ideas for board games, and it's really interesting. He's a really smart
Mhm.
guy. And he asked me if I would make some designs for this game or
Right.
whatever. And first of all, like I love board games, but I'm not really like nerdy in the way where I'm like, oh, I know what my like warlock is gonna look like. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you
Okay,
have to
so
be
it's one of
familiar.
those types of board games. All right, go
Yeah,
on.
yeah, exactly. Like World of
Yeah.
Warcraft kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Dungeons and Dragons, which also, yeah, it's cool. We're not members of those
I'm not
communities.
versed in that
Right.
that style, you know. And he asked me if I would create like some digital, because I had talked about how I was like, oh, I wish I was
I'm
better.
trying my hand at digital art. Yeah.
And then I tried it out, and I was like, I would send him stuff and just be like, I should just tell him I don't want to do it because I don't really want to do it.
And this isn't fun for me. I'm not enjoying it.
Right. And I
Yeah.
wanted to, but you just kind of have to sometimes say no to people.
Right.
You know, like, sorry, this isn't my thing. I can
Mhm.
try to find you someone else who will do it, but
Right.
I'm out, you know?
But yeah, I understand the I was gonna draw a similarity to comedy, but at that point I got nothing. Except for I guess being asked to do something like a clean show, which like a lot of my material isn't like super vulgar, but I do swear and
But it is your style, that's the thing.
right. It's just the way I talk, which is another conversation I had with my grandmother, who says she can't listen to my podcast because I swear too much. Do you have to swear? We don't have to. That's just
But I just do.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
welcome.
That's just how I talk sometimes, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And I never asked you to listen to the podcast for that reason.
yeah. I would advise you not listen to
Exactly.
it.
That was my exact phrase.
Yeah.
But like people in comedy, if anyone knows you're a comedian, they'll always say, "Well, yeah, why don't you tell us a joke or whatever?"
Yeah, it's
Just
like,
that
it's
stupid
not how
crap.
it works.
Exactly. And like even trying to do like a clean show or something like that, I can try, or I can even just like try to work my own material in my head. Like, how can I
Make
do this?
Yeah.
But then when I go to do that clean show, I'm accidentally going to say shit. Or I'm accidentally going to bring up a joke about my son doing things. But and now it sounds worse than it actually is. But we're not going to divulge.
We'll just
Yeah, it's content.
Nope.
No, we'll continue push through. But it is annoying being asked to do things just because you have a passion.
Yeah.
People think that they can maybe not abuse it, but
use it to
take
their
it-
advantage.
exactly take
Yeah.
advantage of it.
Yeah, and in some ways you can respect it. Like, okay, they notice that I'm talented and
Right.
they want to, they want to use that talent.
Right. They
which
see
is-
they see the value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it can sometimes be like one of those things where you're like, ugh, this is what I didn't want.
Yeah.
You know?
This is why I don't divulge this
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, I don't know. I do want to say too, I think it's great that you're doing comedy. Like, I think
Thank
you
you.
are someone, like, I would never have thought of that because that's just not something that I think in my mind, like, oh, people decide to do that, even
Right.
though they do.
But yeah, well, growing up, it doesn't seem like an achievable thing either.
Yeah.
But like we do grow up with art teachers, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
something that's something easy to be inspired by.
Yeah.
But with people always like telling you you're funny or things like that, and you just wanting to be funny,
Mhm.
you'll find a way.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say is, like, I think both of us have found, like, our niche or
Mhm.
whatever. And,
I prefer niche, but yeah, continue.
okay, I didn't know. I just guessed. I don't know what people usually say.
I don't know what it's French or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I just think it's really cool that, no matter the timeline or whatever, like, I feel like I am in the place that I'm supposed to be, like,
Right.
passion-wise, and I think you also
Yeah.
are in a good place. Like,
It feels that way too. Like when I started not so much the podcast. Well, yeah, when I started doing this podcast, but also mostly when I started doing stand-up, it did give me the feeling of like, oh, okay, like
this is supposed to happen.
right. Like there's been a lot of times where I felt out of place or like, what am I doing with my life?
Mm-hmm.
But stand-up has never been one of those things where I've just been like, I don't know if I want to do this or I don't know if this is a path. Like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And the real, I guess, confirmation was the approval or the affirmation that I got from my peers in the comedy group.
Mm-hmm.
Like being told you're funny or whatever, like growing up is all right, but until you like put it to use or like
have established people tell you, wow, that was really funny.
Right, get paid to be that funny person or just getting paid to be passionate about something is awesome. And now like things have come up in my life where it's been hard to do comedy, but it's also been like amazingly therapeutic to do it, and that's why I realized why I am so passionate about it.
Right,
is because it has the power to lift people up, even not just the ones who are laughing at the jokes, but the ones who have to make the jokes.
I definitely think that's how it is for me too, especially with teaching. Like I was really nervous going into education because I mean, it's actually a lot,
right?
You know, and you have this influence on these young lives and all these things. And I wouldn't necessarily, before this, have considered myself a kids person. Like, I still don't want to, like, on my Saturday go hang out with 5-year-olds. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm really
in
not.
my free time, I don't choose to spend it with young children.
Well, I'm just saying, like, some people love kids.
I don't. I got one. I love him, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I love kids to an extent, but I was never really like a babysitter or whatever because I didn't really enjoy that. But this, I enjoy.
Right.
And, like, I have really great relationships with my students and, like, I enjoy being around them.
Right.
And it's just been kind of like an epiphany for me.
Right.
Like, as soon as I started in the classroom, I was like, whoa, like, this is... Like, it makes me emotional sometimes at, like, how much I actually love it.
Right.
You know?
It's
crazy.
And you have, like, every day, I'm sure, at some point, there's a sense of fulfillment there.
Yeah.
Where, like, you're like, oh, I'm actually doing something. I'm working towards something, or I'm inspiring these kids to work towards something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think wherever you're feeling, like, fulfilled, or, like, that sense of purpose, you know, I think that's where you know that's where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's where I'm at right now. I mean, it's really hard because, I mean, I got my dream job when I graduated. Like, I got that job and was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Mm-hmm. And then for COVID, just to be like, oh, sorry, we're going to lay you off. It's like, really, dude? Like, I wasn't even sure I was going to make it this far, and I did, and I love it, and now you're going to tell me I can't do it? So it's just one of those things. Like right now, I really love the school I'm at. I probably said that already, but I mean,
we'll make sure you don't lose your job.
Yeah. I mean, I just need to find a job where I won't be eliminated by a pandemic.
Right.
And then I'll be fine.
Well, yeah, I think I just need to find a pandemic-proof job.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what we're all looking for in this economy.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Mary, it's been so awesome seeing you again and having you on. Thank you for coming. Once again, check out Mary's artistic endeavors at creative__ on Instagram. Boom, right there, if you're listening. Oh, never mind. Hey, Jake, you forgot an N at the end, but that's all right.
It's okay. You can find me.
It's okay. Normal people know how to spell underground. It's creative __
Yeah.
And then you can also find her display, her series at Eastern Kill Distillery in Grand Rapids. I forgot how to describe it. It's near like things like the Garage Bar.
Yeah. On Ottawa Avenue.
There we go. On Ottawa. And yeah, once again, check out her at creative __ and hey, if you're listening, follow the podcast on Instagram at Where Is This Going Pod and on Twitter at Where Is This Gopo. You can also follow me this guy, at @the_Hunter Miles on Instagram and Twitter. And you know what? Thank you. Bye.